If you're like most traders, you're using TradingView to mark up your charts. But we all know, if you've been on TradingView, there is a ton of stuff on there. Ton of indicators, a ton of tools, and it can be extremely confusing on what to do and how to do it. So I'm gonna show you, as a 7-figure trader, all of the tools and tips and tricks that I use that have a direct impact on my results. And make sure to stay tuned to the end, because I'm gonna show you one of my favorite tips on TradingView. Let's jump into the charts. All right, so in front of us here, we have TradingView. Now, TradingView is really cool because you can have TradingView on your phone and on your computer. And on your computer, this is a web-based platform, and you can also download a application from TradingView.com, and it will open up the charts just like this. Now, the real benefit of having TradingView on your computer and on your phone is for alerts. So as we know, there is plenty of times where we're waiting for something to happen. We might have a point of interest that we need price to come into, or we need price to break for us to then look in those areas to see if we have a setup. That's why my first tip is alerts. This is something that I utilize almost on a daily basis. So up here on the right hand side, you will see this toolbox, and the second one from the top, you're gonna see this clock, that alarm clock. So that is where all your alerts will be stored. So you can see I recently had my Euro USD when I was paying attention to an area before a news event, and now we can see it has triggered. So setting up these alerts is super easy to do. So let's say we want to use this high, and we want to set an alert to let us know that price is breaking this high. So if we look directly over here to the right hand side, we can see this little plus mark right here, this little plus symbol, and I can move my mouse and I can see the line that goes across, and I'm going to put it right on the high, and then I'm going to press that plus button. And now we can see this top selection here on the menu, add alert for Euro USD, and I'm going to click on this. And now we can see this orange line has appeared, and that is going to notify me when I get an alert. So if you have the app also on your phone, the TradingView app, when price hits this, you'll be notified on your app, and just make sure you have your push notifications turned on. But there is a thing that we can do to take these alerts a step further. So let's just say you have a bunch of alerts. What we can do now to just keep everything organized is go to your alert. You can either go right to the chart where you have the orange line, or you can come back up into the alert window. Now you can see we have this new Euro USD active alert. You can either come in here and press edit, or we can just come right to this orange line where the alert is and click edit here. And now you have more options for this alert here. So we can see I have checked off notify on app. You can also show a pop-up, which will do a pop-up window if you're using the web version or the application on your computer. You can also send an email or a webhook URL. But the way that I do it to keep all of my alerts very organized is I give them an alert name and I write myself a message. So here, let's just say we were looking for price to break that high. Euro USD breaking the daily high, look for shorts, whatever the alert might be. Then I click save, and now when I get this alert, you can see now it highlights it there and gives a little preview. I will be alerted and I'll know exactly what that alert is. So again too, if you're not available on the computer and you get your alert and you're looking for a setup, you can even input, okay, I'm selling here, my stop loss is 10 pips, and my lot size would be 20 standards, whatever it might be. That way you don't have to calculate everything. It's all prepared and it's there on your phone in the notification from the alert, and then you can go input it. So alerts are very, very powerful, and I highly recommend you use them. Now, tip number 2, and this is a really good one, it's replay mode. We can see up here in this top menu, right in the middle, we have replay. So you might be asking, what would I ever need replay for? So we want to use replay for backtesting. So all you want to do, let's just say we wanted to review this price action here where we saw price moving sideways like this, and you wanted to examine this price action on a lower time frame. Let's click the replay button. It will highlight, and now you will see this line. And we can put that right here, and I'm gonna click, and now we're in replay mode. It will take away that price action and start it where you clicked. And then you're going to have this menu that pops up here. You can control the speed of the bars that are printed when you press play right here. And then if you want to jump to a spot, let's just say we want to bring the replay back a little further, we can use this button here. I'm gonna click it, and now it brings up this vertical line, and then you click it and it brings you back even further. Now I'm gonna just press play here, and I'm gonna control the speed a little bit. So now we can see the candles starting to paint, and of course you can control the speed, and we can speed that up, update every 0.1 second, and then we can see it speeds it up a lot faster. So this is a great tool. I used a lot of this early on when I started backtesting. One little thing that I used to do is I would go like this and go off the screen so I couldn't see any candles, and I would just scroll over a bit, and then I would come in and I would replay right there, and then I would move up to that price action and then just start breaking things down and marking things up. It's like you're doing it in real time, but you get to see the result of what you marked up much quicker than actually having to wait for the price action to unfold in real time. My tip number 3, and it goes with tip number 2, is snapshots. This is a tool that I utilize for every single trade. Now again, up here in this top menu, all the way to the right hand side, we can see a picture of a camera. Now there's a number of ways you can do this, and what I personally like to do is take pictures of my trades in different stages. So let's just say I'm gonna hop into replay mode. Let's just say I am using this as a setup. I identified my candle here, and I figure out all of the different other confirmations. I finish marking up my charts. What I'll do is take a before snapshot, and sometimes what I'll even do is split screen my charts, which I'm going to show you real soon how to do that as well, and take different views of the setup in the 3 different stages: before, middle, and after. Just make sure when you're doing after snapshots that you actually wait for price to play out. So for example, if price stops you out like this and price runs up here and takes you out of the trade, don't immediately take an after snapshot. Let price play out, because you might find that price ended up going down after running your high there and stopping you out, and your directional bias was correct. Then you can just dive into it a little bit more and figure out, okay, why did that happen? Was there something that I missed? That way you know, okay, my directional bias was correct, I just might have missed something, or whatever it might be. You can just investigate a little bit further versus just taking a snapshot like this, and then all you'll have to look back on in your trade journal is just, okay, price ran the high. There's no other information to go on afterwards, and you don't know if your directional bias was overall correct or incorrect. So I like to take these snapshots, but I like to do it and use the link. So up here in this camera button, you're gonna get a little menu. The first one is save chart image. So if I click on this, you can actually save this image of Euro USD daily chart right on your computer in a JPEG. The next one you can do is copy chart image. So this is just like copy and paste on a notepad. What we're gonna do is just click this button. There's also, you have your shortcuts here. You click on this, and now if I were to go to a document, I can just click paste or Control V, and it will paste that snapshot. But what I like to do is come down to this third one and copy the link to the chart image. That way I can go to my trade journal and I have a before, middle, and after section for my snapshots for every single trade. And I take a snapshot, and then you can see here, if I go to a new web browser and I do control paste, you can see it provides me this link, which is a snapshot of this chart here. So that's what I like to do, to have the links. It just keeps my trade journal and my snapshots really organized. But sometimes too, I like to also save them directly on my computer, because I like to also print out my charts in all different stages, before, middle, and after. That way it's almost like flashcards and just working on my pattern recognition. So my fourth tip is split screen. Now this is another powerful thing that I use every single day while trading. Now, full disclosure here, you might need to upgrade your TradingView to get different levels of these display options. So when we come up here to the top menu, we can see this square right here. And you're gonna see there's 8 different layouts with different options down here. So we can see these are pretty self-explanatory as they show the picture. So these are just different ways that you can divide up your chart. So let's do this one here. This is splitting my screen in half vertically. This is the big one that I like to use right here. So let's go to Euro USD. And this is really good, because if I have a daily chart here, on this side, I can go to, let's say, a 1 hour, and I can view the same pair in different time frames at the same time. Now again, you can take it a step further. Let's go to 4. You can have all of these be the same pair. Also, you can sync them. So I'm gonna sync the symbol, and I also like to sync my crosshair. So that means the crosshair here, you can see on every single square here where that crosshair is in the price action and what it looks like for that specific time frame. So you can see here we have a 2 minute, here we have 15 minute, over here we have a 1 hour, and here we have a daily chart, all for the same pair. And that way you can just have a full scope view of everything going on with the pair that you're watching without having to flick back and forth with all the different time frames. And again, you can also do this with different pairs. If you want to watch different pairs, you can click different squares. So let's unsync the symbols. Let's put Great Britain chef here. Let's put silver here, and let's put S&P 500 down here. So you can see now I'm currently watching 4 different pairs on different time frames, all on the same screen. So a lot of different options there, and it's just a really powerful tool that I use every single day. My next tip is lines. Now this is the tool that I use the absolute most. So there are different ways that we can use these lines. So for example, a lot of people like to use the horizontal. If they want to identify a level like this, they have this line and it stretches all the way over. Personally, I like to use the horizontal ray, which will only start where you drop it. So if I want to identify a candle, I like to draw a line just like this. Now what I like to do is label these. So if this is a daily chart, I just click on this line or right click and go to settings. This will pull up this little bar here, this little window, and you're gonna have a bunch of different options here. So we can type in daily manipulation candle, and now it has a label. And I can make that label on the top of the line, in the middle of the line, or the bottom of the line. I can also determine where I want it in terms of the right side, the left side, or the middle. So I'm gonna put it on the right side at the top. That's usually my normal go-to. And then we can also change the color of the text. So I currently have it as black. And then if we click style, you can change the color of the line and the pattern. So you have a solid line, you have a dashed line, and a dotted line, which those are also different things that I use as well. Now, if you click on the color, you can also change the thickness of these lines as well. So if you can't see the dotted line, you can bump it up to this thickness, and now it becomes easier to see. Now, this is something that I like to do all the time, and changing between these can become a hassle. So what I like to do is right click, and then I make templates for all of these. So let's just say we're going to use this red dotted line for daily manipulation candles. So I'm going to go and save as daily manipulation candles. Now I can make all my lines. Let me go to just a regular black horizontal ray, and let's say, okay, here's my daily candle. Now I'm going to come here, click daily manipulation candle. I'm going to get that red dotted line with the label. Now that's one way of doing that there. Now another thing that I like to use, and this is a very common tool that I'm using every single day, is the trend line. Now this is the one where you're actually drawing the lines in different angles. A lot of people like to use these to mark up highs and lows like this, or for entries. But you can see it's kind of hard to get straight, perfect lines. So if you hold down shift while you're holding this line, you can see it's making a perfect line, and I just have to move my mouse sideways. And you can also do it for trend line. So if I'm drawing a trend line, I can hold down the shift key and it makes a perfect line like this. So let's just make this line straight here just by holding shift, and I can extend it as far or as short as I would like it. And I can do the same thing. I can come in and I can change all these options. I can add the distance, I can add a middle point, I can add text to it. So I like to use the $ to represent liquidity. I'm gonna make it on the top, and I'm gonna put it on the right hand side, and you can see it just added this here. Now, this can get kind of messy when you're adding all of this stuff on the chart. So this is the really powerful tip that I like to do to keep all of my charts organized. So let's just say we have this daily candle here. Let's do my new template, and let's throw the fibs on like this. And let's say I wanted to identify this low down here. I'm gonna use my template for target. So you can see just on a daily chart, I already have quite a few things here. Now, when I go to a lower time frame, I don't want to see all of this stuff because I want a clean blank canvas to work with. So what I can do here is I can double click on the fibs, and I can come up here to visibility. And now I can select the time frames that I want to view this on. So right now I have it on day, week, months, and seconds. I don't use the seconds, but this is not going to appear on the hour or 1 minute chart. Now, same thing with this line here. I'm going to change the visibility. I'm going to uncheck the minute and hour. So now when I flip to a 4 hour, we can see the fib levels are gone and that daily line is gone. Now I can do the same thing for this. Let's just say I only wanted to see this on an hour and minute. I can uncheck day, week, and month. So now when I switch to the daily chart, it's going to remove this green line, but it's going to add back my fibs and the daily horizontal ray. So now when I go back to the daily, we can see it made those two tools appear. So that is just a really good way to keep all of your charts super organized and just keep things all nice and neat so it's not getting really cluttered. So those are my most commonly used tools and tricks and tips that I use on TradingView every single day that help me organize my charts and help me capitalize on the charts even more importantly. So I hope you got value from this, and I'll see you in the next one.